Okay, so welcome back, and now we're going to do a couple of examples of finding the derivative function for a couple of functions here. So what we're going to do is we're going to find f prime of x, okay? So we're going to start with f prime of x is equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of what? It's going to be f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in those arguments into here, right? We're going to just plug those in. And what we're going to do is this is going to be equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of what? Well, it's going to be the square root of x plus h minus the square root of x over h. Okay? And so now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the top. Okay? Because we've got to get rid of those radicals. Okay? And so we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the top, which is going to be square root of x plus h plus the square root of x, okay, divided by square root of x plus h plus the square root of x, okay. So now what we're going to do is simplify this, so this is going to equal the limit as h approaches 0. And so now what happens up here? Well, the radicals are going to go away. The middle term, because it's a difference here, is going to drop out. So we're going to end up with, in the numerator, we're going to end up with x plus h minus x. And then we have h times x plus h plus the square root of x. Okay, so I'm not going to expand it out. I'm not going to distribute. Okay. Now, up on top, notice that these cancel. And then I have a factor on the top of h and a factor on the top the bottom, so I can cancel these out. Okay. And so what do I end up with? I end up with the limit as h approaches 0 of what? 1 over the square root of x plus h plus the square root of x. And so if I let h go to 0, what do I get? I get 1 over the square root of x plus the square root of x, which gives me 1 over 2 root x. And that is the derivative function for square root of x. Okay, that's it. Now, what about this one? Let's apply the same thing. Let's find the derivative function, f of x. F prime of x is equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of, again, it's going to be f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And this is going to equal the limit as h approaches 0. Now I'm going to just plug in. So this means it's going to be x plus h quantity squared minus 2 times x plus h minus f of x, which is just this, x squared minus 2x. And notice again, I'm subtracting off the whole thing. And of course we have h in the denominator. Now I'm going to simplify things. So I'm going to get the limit as h approaches 0. And now I'm going to get, now this is going to get pretty long on top, but things are going to start to cancel. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so it's going to be x squared plus 2hx plus h squared minus 2x minus 2h minus x squared plus 2x over h. And now I'm going to look for things that cancel. Well, I've got an x squared and an x squared. So basically what you should look for is everything's going to cancel that has no h's in it. And so after you're done, you should only have things that have h's in it so you can factor out an h to cancel with the bottom. So x squared minus x squared, so those cancel. Minus 2x plus 2x, those cancel. And everything else I have an h in. So now this becomes the limit as h approaches 0 of what? It's going to be 2hx plus h squared minus 2h. Over h. And now I can factor out an h, and that gives me the limit as h approaches 0 of h times 2x minus 2 plus h. And now h on top cancels h on the bottom, and I get the limit as h approaches 0 of 2x minus 2 plus h. And again, this is all continuous everywhere, so as h goes 0, what do I end up getting? This is 2x minus 2, and that's the derivative function. So f prime of x is equal to 2x minus 2. Okay? So we have the original function, f of x is equal to x squared minus 2x. Now we have the derivative function, which is 2x minus 2. So now we have a derivative function, we can actually talk about graphing these things, right? So once we have the derivative function, f prime of x, we can talk about how to graph these things. Okay? What else? There are a couple of things that, well, I'll get to that next video as far as how we denote. There's different ways of denoting a derivative. So you've seen one, there are a couple others too. So we'll see you next time.